What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at the new Gemini cards. I think these were announced like a little bit ago, maybe like 2 weeks or even more, but I just stumbled across them. And like I do whenever a new heap of support comes out for like legacy decks, I look at every other card that's ever come out, and Gemini has a lot. I don't know if any of these cards are good. The only association I have with this deck at all is a FTK that I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, obviously, Brilliant Fusion is still banned, and that was a big reason for it. So I know that it was used for that, but I don't think anyone's ever played Gem Knights before. But so is the new support enough to make it usable? I don't know, but we'll take a look at the new cards and just kind of see, from there. So this is Gemini Quartz. If your opponent controls a monster, you can discard this card. I don't like this already. Set one fusion continuous spell directly from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Gemini monsters. Oh, pretty restrictive right off the bat. If this card is used as a material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard, or banished, you can add one Gem Knight monster from your graveyard to your hand, except a copy of itself. And then you can only use each effect once per turn. See, that's the super unfortunate part, really. If your opponent has to control a monster, so if you are going first, like this card's dead. Now, I don't know yet, but maybe this is a deck where you have to go second. Like, there are definitely some strategies, like Grand Maju. I don't know if it's that extreme, but it's like a searcher, basically. You don't have to use your normal summon for it either. It's like kind of like Rod, although you kind of do want to have like board presence. Like, that's what's good about Rod. But otherwise, if there's a fusion spell that lets you banish from the graveyard, especially a continuous spell, I don't know if there is just quite yet, then obviously it makes a big difference. Or the continuous spell gets you to a spell that lets you banish from the graveyard so that you can use both effects reliably. I'm sure that's the idea. But it does suck that your opponent has to control a monster. This card is always treated as a Gem Knight card. I don't know why it wouldn't just be called Gem Knight Brilliant Rose, but okay. You can discard one Gem Knight or Melodious card. What is the Melodious archetype? Am I spelling this wrong? One second. I want to look this up. Let's see. That's why I was confused. Melodious. Oh, there's a okay. I've never even looked at the Melodious archetype. That's a lot of cards. Honestly, I thought it was going to be really small, but it's not. Maybe that's a video for another time. All right, but it's treated as both. Interesting. You can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, so you're going -1 to special summon. I'm assuming some of these have effects when discarded, hopefully, or like graveyard effects. This one would technically count. Again, if you can banish for the fusion summon. Once per turn, you can send one Gem Knight or Melodious card from your extra deck to the graveyard. This card's name, type, and attribute become the sent monster's original name, type, and attribute until the end phase. That's bizarre. I'm sure it's used for special summons of particular monsters that need specific names. It almost feels like this card should also be able to just like fusion summon. I know that seems like a lot in one card, but you're going to special summon it. You get the extra foolish barrel goods. If any of these have effects in the graveyard, maybe like this card becomes that much better. I don't know if there is, but it's just a decent card, like off rip. From like the effect itself is just okay. Here's Scatter Fusion. This might be what I'm looking for. If your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon one non-rock Gem Knight monster. Are there even any rock? Oh, there are a couple. Interesting. I wonder. Okay. Strange. From your extra deck, using monsters from your deck as fusion material. Oh, wow. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Gem Knight monsters. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Oh, interesting. I mean, that makes sense. It's a pretty high... I mean, that's a crazy card. It is unfortunate, though, that it's restrictive for what monster you can go into. I'm assuming that's because of the FTK, maybe. I don't know. But it's a better Shaddoll fusion that's searchable from the deck now. So this card is great. This is a really good card. No doubt about it. And again, if any of these have graveyard effects, which maybe they do, that's pretty sick. And then last, there is a new fusion. It requires a Gemini monster plus a fairy monster. Are any of these fairies? The new one is. All right. Only one, though. Oh, there's a couple. We'll see if it's even... Oh, no, this is Melodious. Just kidding. I scrolled all the way over to the side there. How easy is that going to be? Apparently, you're supposed to play Melodious in this, too. But the first time a Gemini monster you control would be destroyed by card effect during each opponent's turn, it is not. Alright. When your opponent activates a monster effect during your turn, you can banish one Gemini card from your graveyard, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. See, that's pretty interesting. Now, that's not the greatest thing in the world because it doesn't negate, but it doesn't say you have to destroy that card. It's just any face-up card, which is quite versatile, to be honest with you, so... Not really the worst thing in the world. I wish it had I feel like it definitely should have 3,000 attack, or it seems it would be better if it was 3,000 defense in like 2,700 attack. It feels really low, for this. I don't really know why. It's a level 8. Like, I don't really see what it's a fusion monster, right? Like, you're putting a lot of investment in this, although I guess technically not really if you get to use this card, Scatter Fusion. But this is interesting. This is definitely like a going second deck, which honestly I don't think is the worst thing in the world. Now, in this format, it's a little wonky when you're playing meta, like you're playing Prank Kids, or you're playing Cyber Eldritch. But I feel like in the next ban list, give or take, a lot of those cards will either be hit pretty hard, or hopefully Scythe is gone, and that just like really is a big boost for going second decks. Which I think could happen. So I'm not saying that this is going to be meta, but just trying to think of like a realistic situation here. There is like a bunch of normal monsters here, so I'm not really gonna. They got a level 7, 4. This is like literally like the famous card. I know this one. Like that's why we say garnets. Basically Mecha Phantom Beast, Colt Wing. That's a garnet. We call it garnet because of this. This is Gemini Tourmaline, also a 4. So this is a Thunder that's a Pyro, and this is a Rock. I don't know if that's important, but this is a level 3. I wish maybe like these were like tuners or something, but it has a Link and Exceed monster, but no synchros. I don't know. It feels kind of cool. I feel like this could be like, I know it's like a fusion deck, but it feels like there's room for something else. I'm not sure. And their Exceed monster doesn't do anything, although it's a pretty big body for a rank 4, 2,600, quote unquote. So pretty interesting. I guess that's probably the best way I'll put it. Now, are any of these Thunder? Because can you use Thunder Dragon Fusion? Let's look at the Thunder Fusion card to figure what it's called. Fusion summon one Thunder Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling materials listed into your deck from among the monsters on your field, in your graveyard, and or your face-up banish cards. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if we'd use that, but it could come up, honestly. It depends on if you like search spell cards, or I should say polymerization cards. Like you could play Keeper of the Dragon Magic, I feel like. Although it's only Gemini monsters, you're probably not. So, I don't know. Just a thought off the top of the head, because they do have Thunder monsters. Okay, so this is Gemini Alexandrite. You contribute this card special on one Gemini normal monster from your deck. I think there was a series of cards that made them normal monsters anyways. So, otherwise, that's like kind of a waste of a normal summon, because you do have Unexpected Die. Is that what it's called? I'm pretty sure. The one that special summons a normal monster from the deck. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. I don't know if that means that. I guess it would, because you get to, when it's like special from the deck, it's treated as a normal monster. I would have to assume. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Which is this is a very interesting archetype, obviously. Okay, it's treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is face up on the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with this effect. Interesting. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add one Gemini card from your deck to your hand. See, that sucks because this card would be usable, which I know it seems kind of silly, but it would be usable if it said inflict damage to your opponent. Feel like that's a lot better. How many opportunities are you going to get? I mean, a lot of like cards kind of do get left on the field, especially with these like big combo decks, but not reliably. Like, I feel like this is just not a good effect. It's almost, you get to add a Gemini card from your deck, but I want to be able to like attack directly in search. Like, that would be so much better. Like, but because of this, I feel like it's a little too niche. It's like, you need Yu-Gi-Oh is so complicated. Like, you need to be able to use every card in your hand. If there's even a chance that it's a waste, then you're probably gonna lose. Like, that's how crazy like this card game is. All right, you can banish this face-up card you control and one normal monster you control to target one Gemini fusion monster in your graveyard. Special summon it from the graveyard. It's basically, that's a fusion summon, right? Although it sucks you have to control 2. Like, that's not great. I don't think that card's very good. When this card is normal summon, you can add one Gemini monster from your deck to your hand. Like, it's like basically just a genuinely better version of this, right? So you're 100,000% because you're gonna want to add Quartz to add Scatter Fusion to your hand. So this is a good card. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. When this card is face up on the field, you can normal summon it to become an effective monster with this effect. I think one of these engine lets you do 2 normal summons. Well, I think that's actually Brilliant Fusion. So that might be a really big problem that I don't know if they figured out. Although the new monster special summon itself, and this one uses it from the hand, like, so the new monsters kind of get it, but these, like, I don't know how many you're going to be playing. Anyways, you can send one Gemini card from your hand to the graveyard to target one of your banished monsters added to your hand. It's a little too neggy. I don't think so. This is Gemini Iolite. This card is treated as a normal monster, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can have it. You can normal summon it to have this effect. Once per turn, you can banish one gem monster from your graveyard to target one Gem Knight card in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. That's cool. I can dig that. I don't think... Yeah, okay. If this card is banished, you get to add a Gem Knight monster from your graveyard to your hand. So you're potentially adding 2 back to your hand, which is not bad. Now, I feel like you almost have to play double summon in this deck, which I know sounds really casual, and this is a casual deck anyways, but there's a lot of times where I feel like that's not good, because normal summon, like double summon though, is normally used to tribute summon, like traditionally, right? At least like the way I understand, like you actually do need 2 normal summons like in this deck if Brilliant Fusion is going to stay banned, and there's no way to do extra normal summons, because this is a normal summon deck, of course. Flip, you can add one Gem Knight Fusion from your deck to your hand. It's a little too slow, probably. This is Gem Knight Obsidian. You can, if this card is sent from your hand to the graveyard, you can target one level 4 lower normal monster in your graveyard, a special summon that target. Why do these have to be normal summon, right? I wish you could just say, like, you could activate it or something. Because I don't really know what the use of them having them on the field is. Like, this is a good effect, right? Because you can pitch it, with your court or with Rose, which is a good thing. I mean, it could be used for ranks like Exceed summoning. Like this is like low key a rank 4 deck, in a sense, but it does lock you into Gem Knight monsters. Meh. I feel like this card could be really good. It could be. And this is Crystal Rose. I'm pretty sure that this is what this is supposed to like replace it with. But once per turn, you can send one Gem Knight or Melodious monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Interesting. And if you do, this card becomes the sent monster's name. So this is for like the main deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one fusion monster from your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position. Again, it feels like this should be a tuner, right? I don't know. None of these have graveyard effects other than like being normal monsters in the graveyard. I feel like it'll all come together once I read the spells, but Gemini Lazuli. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. This is very good. Like this is great. Okay, so plenty of these do have effects when sent to the graveyard, which is great. So the new cards for sure work within the archetype that exist. I feel like you're gonna need a lot more to make it happen, but this is definitely a pretty decent start. Like great design, and I think that's what I like. Or I should say, I wish this is what they would do more in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not about making an old deck meta. Like, who cares? Meta is this, it's this thing of its own. Like, make old archetypes playable. I feel like that's all people care about. And if you can do that, people would be so much happier. And I feel like that's what they kind of accomplished with just these 3 cards, or 4 cards, really, which is nice. Yeah, it's a brilliant fusion that's banned. This is Gemini Fusion. Fusion summon one Gemini monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one Gemini monster in your graveyard, add this card to your hand. So, again, really good stuff, because a lot of these cards have banish effects, especially these ones. I don't think this one does, but this one does when it's banished. So, and then we just saw this one. Like, it's good stuff. There's a few of them that definitely work with this card. Kind of unfortunate that you can't banish materials maybe from your graveyard. I know that'd be kind of OP, but it's definitely something you're gonna have in your deck, of course. Really though, I feel like you probably like run like it's not Edge Imp Sabers, it's the Fright for Patchwork that adds like Scythe, and do they have like a dark monster one? Because that would be pretty interesting. I feel like it has everything but that, doesn't it? Okay, it literally does. Okay. I wish that one of them said dark, because that would make that really good. I'm pretty sure that like what it adds, like I think is it called Patchwork? Add one Edge Imp monster in one polymerization from your deck to your hand. So let's look up Edge Imp real quick and see if there's like at least a light target. Earth, water, dark. There is. Technically, right? There technically is, because one of these is a light monster. So, and it gives you additional normal summon. I feel like it's low key, like a must. It's crazy that it's such a. Really, this just shows like how many Yu-Gi-Oh cards there are. Like I can just look up a generic thing and find some pretty good support. But that's like off the top of my dome. Like that's a pretty good combo. You get to go +1 and then use poly. You know, you're basically not negging from your first fusion summon, and I don't think that you can go wrong like by doing that, right? You're getting also a free 3 attack body +2 normal summons, because that little combo, quote unquote combo, had nothing to do you know, with your normal summon. So kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. And it's generic too. It's just a Gem Knight monster. Literally a must in my opinion. It's cool. So that's really cool. Particle Fusion. Send from your side of the field to the graveyard the fusion materials that are listed on a Gem Knight fusion monster card, then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. That's how fusion summoning works. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon. It's just not a fusion card. When you do, banish this card from your graveyard to target one Gem Knight fusion material monster used for its fusion material. The fusion summon monster gains that monster's attack until the end phase. I don't know. Like, I just feel this is a really weird text. I feel like this is a really old card. Now it has to be on your side of the field. Like that's where this comes in, because you get to like at least special summon this back. Yeah, I feel. If this was a continuous spell, I feel a little better about it. I mean, just to gain a little bit of attack, like, I don't know if that's worth it. Like, you know, Gem Knight Fusion, you get to fusion summon, like, really, like, from the deck with Scatter Fusion. So, like, this card might not be necessary, like, at all. Another fusion card. There are plenty of fusions here. Add one Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand, then you can apply this effect. Oh, that's sick. Fusion summon one Gem Knight Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed from your hand or your side of the field. Versus Wishes from the graveyard. You can only activate one absorb fusion per turn, but some of these still have effects when banished anyways. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card except Gem Knight monsters, which is fine. They all restrict you into Gem Knight monsters. This card's awesome. Like, it's Searcher plus Fusion. Like, can you actually ask for any more than that? I don't think you can. So that makes me wonder if... No, it's crazy. Like, there's so many fusion cards, and they're kind of all good, which is great. Like, this is good. Like, this is decent because you get to banish and trigger some effects. So that's something to think about. But this card is kind of a must. But I think if you can only activate it once, you're probably only running a one of, like, just so statistically it's impossible for you to. And maybe you're running a lot of these at one. Although I guess this one isn't a once per turn. And this is searchable, so you're probably running one of these and maybe more copies of this and one of these. Other than that, I'm not sure. Now, Brilliant Fusion probably isn't going to come off the ban list, so I won't read it. It just enables too much stuff. I think it's legal in the OCG. I think the Gemini FTK is actually a thing. Okay, trap card. Tribute one Gemini monster, and the target one Gemini monster in your graveyard, especially from the target. It stinks. Brilliant Spark. If a face-up Gemini monster controlled destroyed by an opponent's attack or card effect, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. If the card's in your graveyard, you can send one Gemini card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. That stinks too. Fusion. Proxine Fusion. Send this card from your hand or your side of the field to the graveyard. Oh, sorry. I thought it said send this card. Send from your hand or your side of the field to the graveyard the fusion materials listed monsters that are listed on a Gemini fusion card, then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. It's treated as a fusion summon. I don't know why you would need that. I would have to look real quick to see if there's one that like triggers upon summon, but really I don't think there's any searchers for these cards. Like, I don't think you can search them. So other than what's it called? Trap Trick. I think it's called Trap Trick. The one that basically you get to banish normal, but I don't think that's just not that great. I mean, there's so many great fusion cards. I don't think this is necessary, unless there's a crazy effect like destroy every card your opponent controls of special summon. But this is a going second deck anyway, so again, I don't think these trap cards really are all that important. Banish from your graveyard the fusion material monsters that are listed on a Gemini fusion monster card, and special summon that fusion monster from the extra deck. Destroy during the end phase. Oh, great. Great fusion card. Okay. Go ahead and go into the extra deck here. 3 Gemini monsters. 3. Eesh. Although, if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon one non-rock. Is this a rock? It is a rock, of course. Okay. All the good ones you can't summon, right? Is this a rock? Okay, that would be really messed up. 3 Gemini monsters. We'll see. Must first be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials. You can only special summon this card once per turn. Once per turn, you can send one face-up Gemini monster you control to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon one Gemini fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. That's sick, dude. All right, I can get down with that. I'm sure this was probably used in some of the FTKs. This is Gemini Master Diamond. I think it copies the effect. Must first be fusion summoned. This card gains 100 attack for each Gemini or gem monster in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can banish one level 7 or lower Gemini fusion monster from your graveyard until the end phase. This card's name becomes that monster's and replaces this effect with that original effect. Yeah, so this was used multiple times, I think, to burn. So whatever one of these burns, like, that's what it was used for. This is just a generic fusion. Awesome. Okay, must be fusion summoned once per turn. You can send one Gemini card from your hand to the graveyard to target one face-up card in the field. Destroy that target. It's not bad. It's all right, because there's a lot of ways to add these cards back to your hand. So, like, of the things in existence, like, this is not the worst. Must first be fusion summoned. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Meh, that's alright. I don't think... I mean, that could be... That's definitely interesting, but there's a lot of things happen before a battle phase. Must first be fusion summoned. This is Amethyst. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, return all set spell and traps on the field to the hand. It's unfortunate. I wish it just said if this card is sent to the graveyard. But this should also say, like, set spells and traps cannot be activated in response to me, but this is certainly something that you're going to use. It's not a Harpy's Feather Duster, but it's an accessible way to deal with spells and traps, like, from your extra deck, which is certainly very valuable. It takes an aqua type monster. Which one of these is an aqua? Oh, okay. Whew. That's good. It's at least one of the good ones. That's nice. You can special summon from the extra deck too, so, or like, you're going to have a lot of access to it. This card's decent. This is Gemini Ruby. Must first be special summoned with the above fusion materials. Once per turn, you contribute one face-up gem monster. This card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's attack on the field until the end phase. It's piercing battle damage. None of these are too... I mean, it could gain 3 stacks, so... What does it go to? 5,500? That's not... double piercing battle damage? Come back and talk to me. But this, I think, is just kind of decent. Must first be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials. If this card can attack twice during each battle phase. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. Okay, why is it only 1,800 attack? That kind of sucks. Although, you know what, you could actually copy the effect. So if you were able to get it off the field. I mean, this would be really hard because it's a rock. Oh, that's a rock fusion too. Ugh. Why is that card so... Why are we restricting Gem Knights, man? Like, it would be good if you could use this and then, like, you know, copy the effect maybe to do some, like, multiple attacks. And then, like, burn damage. But definitely that's the idea, right? Okay, so this is Lapis Lazuli. Must first be special summoned with the above fusion materials. So you can special summon... You can only special summon this card once per turn. Once per turn, you can send one Gem Knight monster from your main deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each special summon monster on the field. Yeah, this is definitely, I think, where that came into. Like, this is where, like, the FTK kind of originated. Because I think you can only you can only special summon this one time. And if you have a full board, I'm just trying to think. What is that? 5, so like 25. Yeah, I think you would have to do this, what, 3 times, I guess? Assuming your whole board is filled, which it probably could be. I feel like there was a way to cheat this out for some reason. I'm not sure. But I know this was involved, and I know that because this is limited, like, this isn't possible to do that now. But this could come up, like, in IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! When it comes to time, if that's your interest. Or, like, to finish things off, like, there's certainly, like, a good chance... You know, that you'll kind of have a lot of special summon monsters, and you can do like 1,500 damage, like probably a minimum, which is not bad. Must first be fusion summoned with the above materials. Oh, that's right. You can do it. You get an additional normal summon, which is awesome for this deck specifically. This is generic for some reason. All right. Oh, okay. Jeez, I just started reading it. Okay, 2 gem monsters. I don't know why it just says gem. Is gem like a completely different archetype? Or like, are there different gem cards? Gemini Elf. Does that count? I don't know. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Gemini, yeah. How strange. But okay. When this links someone, you get to add a Gemini card. A Gemini card. Now... This is a Gem Knight card which searches this. So essentially you're searching this, which is sick. And then you can pay 1,000 life points. Fusion summon 1 Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling materials in your possession listed on it into your deck that are banished or in your graveyard, but you cannot attack directly this turn. Who cares, dude? That is awesome, man. That's a great Linka monster, and it just takes 2 gem monsters. Basically, whatever 2 materials you use to get this card, right? You're going to be able to fusion summon. So you get that in... Yeah, this card's sick, dude. I don't really know, like, what the final product of this looks like, especially with, like, Melodious cards supposedly being, like, thrown in there. But this card I know is good, and the extra deck leaves a little bit to be desired. It's more of a battle phase heavy thing, but the new cards are good. The Link monster is good. So I think if there's, like, one more wave of extra deck support for, like, actually good cards... then you're kind of cooking with gas, maybe. But I'm definitely impressed. Like, this archetype doesn't stink. There's sometimes I read stuff and I'm like, this will never be good. I can see a path where this deck can do stuff and things. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.